Hello, everyone, and welcome to Avena Bella. I'm Judy Bensaka, chair of the EAH Board of Directors. Also here with us is another board member, Doug Elliott. Where's Doug? There he is. Thanks for coming, Doug. Well, I'm delighted to see all of you here today for a very special event. It was exactly 2 years ago this month that many of us gathered here for the groundbreaking ceremony. And it wasn't much. It was just a big field of dirt and a few pieces of equipment. Now, 2 years later, look at what we have. We're back for the grand opening of the largest all-affordable housing development in Turlock. This amazing feat is truly grounds for celebration. So we're so happy you're all here today to celebrate with us. Not only does Avena Bella provide a beautiful home to 80 families, but it does so sustainably. EAH and our development team have taken great strides in creating a space that produces clean energy through solar power, provides the latest air filtration technology for the wellness of the residents, and uses less energy with highly efficient appliances. And what a location. It's great to see parents walking their kids to Cunningham Elementary next door and spending time outside in this community-oriented neighborhood. The city knew this would be a prime spot for family housing, and they made it happen. I want to thank those who were integral at the city in making Avena Bella a reality. Would the following people please stand? Mayor John Lazar. City Council Member Bill DeHart. Is he here? He's still at another meeting, and we'll wait for him to arrive and to introduce him. Council Member Forrest White. City Manager Roy Waston. Housing Program Services Manager Marin Pitt and her staff. And City Attorney Phaedra Norton. I also want to welcome Darren McDaniel from the Office of U.S. Congressman Jeff Denham. He's on his way, all right. And Brett McBay from the Office of California Assembly Member Kristen Olson. And I'd like to mention that State Senator Anthony Cannella sends his regrets that he wasn't able to attend, but he has sent a very kind commendation for Avena Bella. And now it's my pleasure to welcome affordable housing's greatest advocate, President and CEO of EAH Housing, Mary Murtaugh. Hey, Mary.
Oh, goody. I can adjust this for height-challenged people. Well, what a great day to be here, and Bella it is. What a beautiful property. We are thrilled. So as of last Wednesday, the wait list here stood at 530 families. And it was even higher during construction. We've been helping as many residents as we can, as fast as we can, but clearly we still have a lot more work to do. When we started this project, Stanislaus County and the whole Central Valley was in the middle of a horrific foreclosure crisis. And at that time, a lot of people, we got a lot of questions, you guys on the council probably did too, about why are we building rental housing here when, homes are being foreclosed, prices are dropping. The answer, of course, is that there's so many families who are key to our economy who can't afford rent, let alone afford to buy a home, even at a reduced price. And, buying a home takes more than just the actual monthly mortgage payment. It also requires insurance and taxes and a near perfect credit score, and that big obstacle for so many people, a huge down payment. So when you've been paying more rent than you can afford, how the heck can you save up that? Not to mention you can't have any credit card debt. There's just all kinds of obstacles between ownership. And prices, I gather, have been bouncing back really fast. In Turlock, I gather you had a 26% increase or something like that in your prices. It's close to over 200,000 now. Median sales are like 236. It would take an income of $50,000 or $60,000 a year to afford to buy a home here. And there are an awful lot of people who work hard in this community who don't earn money at that range. So having affordable rental housing is critical, and I'm just so happy that we have these beautiful 80 units to be opening up today. For seniors who are living on a fixed income and families, it's going to give them a fresh start. It just makes it an absolutely enormous difference. You know, seniors especially are going to be choosing between medicine and food without a break on rent. We know how hard it is for people in those income ranges, so we're especially happy to be able to have these apartments. We're so lucky to be in Turlock. You guys just did an awesome job. The city never doubted the reason for doing this. They knew all the Nicoles that were out there and families that needed this. And, you know, all the hundreds of people on the waiting list, just seniors, just families with disabilities and so on. And you guys not only understood the need, but you figured out what you wanted to do and stuck to it and, you know, made a commitment. And the leadership was really from the top in this city. I can't say enough good about it. I mean, I never saw anybody work in such a great synchronicity. Is that a word? Whatever. It was like in December of '09 when you released the RFP for this site, and 4 years later, financed, done, built, and occupied in 4 years, December of 2013. That is a new track record for EAH. Unless I'm wrong, digging through the archives, Matt and I were comparing notes in the car on the way down. We can't think of anything that went this fast ever. It's spectacular, especially because if you hadn't gone that fast, redevelopment might have knocked this thing out of the park. So thank you so much. This kind of timing just couldn't happen without an extraordinary level of work on the part of your staff, and the cooperation is just essential. So there's three dynamic people from the city that are going to talk to us this morning, starting with Mayor John Lazar.
This is a great day in Turlock. We have another jewel in our crown, and I'd like to thank our staff, who was introduced earlier, particularly Marin Pitt, our Economic Development Coordinator. She's just gone beyond and above what we need to do here in Turlock. You know, our vision, the City Council, has always been to move towards economic development, and the housing piece of it all is here today. We've worked really hard to try to bring new jobs, to create an opportunity for locals, particularly younger people, to live and work in this community. And today we're making it affordable for them to live in this community. And helping families and getting that started is so important to improving the quality of life and continuing what we've known in years past, allowing people to return and take an opportunity to have a nice place to live, leave a community that might not be as safe and secure. And I appreciate what Nicole says. You want to scream, I want to scream louder than you. It's absolutely a wonderful day here in Turlock. I want to thank EAH and as well as the architect for all their efforts here. The fact that we're going to have another phase of this pretty soon is going to be wonderful. I hope you're all willing to come to the groundbreaking for that. And I want to take a moment again to thank Forrest and former council member Mary Jackson, who is here, who worked on this as well. Other council members, Amy Blue-Black and Bill DeHart, aren't here yet, but want to acknowledge their hard work. And our city manager, Roy Wasden, our attorney, Phaedra Norton, we're all a team. I'm calling on Governor Brown to kind of look at redevelopment again. He's promised us to provide that tool to cities and local governments, and Mary is right, we wouldn't have been able to do it without redevelopment. And that's the only opportunity we have to provide these kind of projects for our communities. So again, we want to support families, want to support affordable housing, and obviously create jobs for those that want to live and reside in our community. So thank you for being here. I do have something special. I don't know if this is the opportunity to present it, but I do have a certificate of recognition, and I will present it to whomever wants to receive it. Do you like that, Mary?
How comes the hook?
Okay. Well, Mary, I want to thank you. And it reads, it's just a certificate of recognition, may it be known This certificate is awarded to Avena Bella Apartments in recognition of the grand opening and for bringing new affordable housing opportunities to the families and community of Turlock. This momentous occasion, made possible by EAH Housing, the City of Turlock, and other partnerships, will allow Turlock residents to live in an affordable, sustainable, and high-quality housing for years to come. On behalf of our City Council and a grateful community, may I extend our sincere congratulations on the grand opening of this project. Congratulations. My pleasure. Thank you. You're very special to us. Thank you.
Thank you. Don't steal my speech.
Thank you.
You got, hey, John, I think you got my speech.
Oh, I took your. You do this frequently, don't you? You don't need a speech.
Well, I do wander off track occasionally. Thank you very much. It's very nicely written. I want to ask Roy Wasden, would you come up? I could never be a city manager. I don't know how you guys do it. Do you ever sleep?
It's a fun job.
Well, we need to clone you. That's all I can say.
Some people wouldn't agree with that. I'll be very brief. It's wonderful to have Avena Bella here. It's wonderful to have the grand opening. I'd acknowledge our mayor and council who, quite honestly, Mary, expect things to be accomplished, and they make that clear. Not only they empower us to get things done, but they also hold us accountable to get things done, and we think that's a great recipe, plus the fact that we just have tremendous staff. As I look at the men and women serving in the Turlock City, they work so hard. And it was kind of interesting, as Marin put together the RFP for this project, we were so grateful that EAH submitted. Yes, we went through a little drama, because there were some people that were upset over the award to EAH. I mean, they just weren't very happy, were they, Marin? And they actually went the route of maybe trying to create a little turmoil, which the council, mayor, just held firm. This is what we're going to do. This is the recommendation from staff. We're going forward. And it has gone forward. And quite honestly, we think 4 years is too long. We think we should have been able to deliver this in 2 years. And we're anxious to find the ability to move the funding forward. The wrestling match continues with the state of California and the redevelopment that we're committed to. And so, you know, Brett, we need help up there. We got to twist those arms to stop the kind of nuts stuff that doesn't let the next phase of this development move forward. We think we're making great progress there as we deal with the wind down of the redevelopment and making sure the funding's committed. I stray from what really I would like to say very succinctly, that this an environment changes lives. And as I look at the kids here and the things that are happening here, Nicole, as I think about your children, the environment they grow up in shapes who they become. And the future's bright with this environment. And it's because you know how to manage. Construction's easy. Managing things so they're done right, and that's what EAH does, is you do things right. We believe if you should be in charge of all affordable housing, because then it would be done right. You do it right, and that's what we need here and what everyone needs. Affordable doesn't have to mean not a great place to live. So thanks for what you're doing, and thanks for all the lives of young people that are being blessed because of your efforts. And truly a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
I hope we have that on video because that just totally encapsulates our mission. And I'm so sorry that Diana Engel is home sick in bed with a cold, or at least she's probably sick at the office knowing her, even though I ordered her to go to bed. But our management team is just fabulous, nonpareil. So, and speaking of, but you also summarize the way the city works too, which is you get a recommendation from staff, the council adopts it, end of subject. It's going to happen that way. So many cities don't work that way. But also having a great staff it's impossible to do it without that. And I wanted to ask you to say a few words, Marin, because you've been absolutely instrumental. Marin is not only wicked smart, she is one determined person. She makes her mind get something done. It's going to happen. And she just cleared the way in every respect for this to happen. Felix, you could probably go on. And would you like to, actually? Well, you're supposed to MC this event, and somehow I got stuck. Well, let Marin talk, and then I'm going to throw you up.
I came to housing in 2009 with a huge list of things that we wanted to accomplish. And we had some challenges in getting this project off the ground, and we had HUD money that we had to take out of here, and there was a whole bunch of logistical stuff to even get us to that RFP process. But, today is, I'm emotional of thinking of all the lives that we have been able to touch, and Nicole, for you and your family. And it makes all of it worth it, truly. And I'm proud and want to thank my staff again for their efforts, and for the whole team at Turlock and at EAH, and Dahlin, that we were out here a lot, standing in the dirt, working out issues. And so it was just all a team effort, and everybody on the same page. I've heard the analogy about when oxen, as partners of a team, are yoked, that when they get out of sync with each other, it binds the oxen that they can't move forward. And even though that it took 4 years, we never were at that point where the team stopped. It was always, everybody was yoked together and all moving in the same direction. So with that, I just want to say thank you. It's a great day, and I'm just so happy to have it all 100% occupied, with a really strong chance that we'll get that other next phase funded, and I'm ready to move forward. So thank you.
One more thing.
Have a little envelope so there's no drip on your shoes. Now you can take it.
Hi, everybody. Mr. Mayor, Mr. City Manager, and our neighbors and our residents. Thank you all for coming. I'm Felix Ao Young. I'm the Senior Project Manager for this development. I'm very humbled to be here because this is really a City of Turlock project, which we were fortunate enough to partner up with them to really deliver their vision. They were very clear in their RFP in the end of 2009 what they wanted, and it was my job to deliver that vision, and I think it's been a pleasure to do that. And I think for the people who don't know the city or who haven't been part of this process, you can see from the mayor and the city manager and from Maren the level of commitment they have for this. But on top of that, the amount of compassion that they have for this project. And this would not have happened without them. And I've sat through many city council meetings and have met many cities, and by far this one sets the bar. So with that, the staff was really instrumental in helping us make sure that we got to the construction loan closing within about 2 years and 3 months. And then subsequent to that, to get to full occupancy within another 2 years. And Mary's mentioned this, that this 4-year process is the fastest we've ever done this, to full occupancy, not just construction start. And aside from Mr. Wasden and Maren, I also want to thank Mike Pitcock, the Development Services Director, Debbie Whitmore, Planning Director, Eric Pecciano, the Chief Building Official, Mark Gomez, the Fire Marshal, and also Adrian Werner, the planner who was instrumental in making all of this happen. So once we had direction from the city and we were selected, then it was we had to go assemble the financing to make this happen. And the city had contributed their portion from the redevelopment agency, which Maren, again, this is some of the details as to why this was so quick. Maren understood the process for tax credits and what it takes to prevail in the geographical region. She included pre-development money for us to make sure we got farther than we otherwise would have gotten in order to submit the application. Which enabled us to leverage AHP funds from the Federal Home Loan Bank, which then expedited the whole thing. And we were we prevailed in the first time we applied for this. But part of that is because of Bill Pavel's wizardry at the Tax Credit Allocation Committee. This was 2011 when you had found some extra tax credits, which got more projects funded. And this project was one of 3 that EAH got through that year, and we want to thank you for that. So some of our other key financing partners are the enterprise community partners. They are the investor for the project, and Chase Community Development Banking, who is the lender. And with us here is Kate Chavez from Enterprise.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here today to represent Enterprise Community Investment. Enterprise fundraises, advocates, and invests in affordable housing throughout the country. This is our 4th project with EAH, and we hope it's just the beginning. We raised $11 million of equity for this project, which was just under 60% of the total cost of development, which, as you heard, was made possible through a federal program called the Low-Income Housing Tax Credit. JP Morgan Chase Capital was our equity partner to raise that equity, and they're pleased to have participated in this, and you'll hear from the lending side of Chase later. An important initiative at Enterprise is to make sure all affordable housing in the future incorporates green and sustainable designs. And this project is a great example of that effort, as was mentioned before, with the solar panels to reduce electrical costs, energy efficient appliances, and water conservation fixtures and landscaping. Enterprise recently surpassed 2,000 tax credit investments, and we look forward to a successful partnership with EAH. I just want to thank the city for, as was stated before, being so accommodating and cooperative through this process, which is not something we see that as often as we should. And thank you to Felix for always keeping a smile on your face throughout all of our requests and any bumps in the road we encountered. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. Last time Kate was here, we were out in downtown Turlock in a coffee shop talking about the market and getting this project started. So I'm glad you were here to see it at the grand opening. I also want to introduce Paul Carney, the Vice President at Chase Community Banking. He is new to Chase. Andy Madeira was the former person that we've worked with in getting the lending for both the construction loan, which was $9 million or something very large, and the permanent loan as well. So I'd like to introduce Paul.
Good afternoon. On behalf of Chase, I want to congratulate EAH on the successful completion of Avena Bella. Chase is proud to have partnered with EAH on such an incredible project and is grateful to all those who participated to make it happen, including the City of Turlock, Enterprise, the Federal Home Loan Bank, and TCAC. The affordable housing industry in California has gone through difficult times in recent years with ever-increasing demand for affordable housing and shrinking public subsidies. Chase is committed to working with our industry partners to providing financing to meet these new challenges. We are looking to utilize all of our resources to make these projects work, including construction loans, permanent loans, and tax credit equity investments, all of which we provided for Avena Bella. On a personal note, yes, this is my 4th week at Chase, and so I can't take credit for this, and now that I've seen it, I really wish that I could. I have worked with the EAH in prior jobs, and they've always been a leader in this industry, and so I'm very excited to be working with them again. Thank you, and congratulations again.
Thank you, Paul. It's actually been a very smooth process working with both Enterprise and with Chase. And with our upcoming Phase 2, we certainly hope that we can do this partnership again. So moving on from financing to the design of the property, I think this is what most people can see and experience when they get here. There's a lot of thought that went into the design process. I want to thank sincerely to Dahlin Group, who was the architect. Glenn Simmons is here, as well as Steven Silvera. And Jeff Escott was their, also part of their project architect team. Thank you. We used an integrated design approach, I think for the first time, where we brought in a green consultant, Katie Hellbacher from Beyond Efficiency, to sit in the very early conceptual and schematic meetings early. And Dahlin Group was very receptive to all of the ideas that we had in terms of making this property as sustainable as we could. It is, I think, going to be certified as a LEED Gold project. And it will also be GreenPoint rated. And this is my chance to talk some of the technical stuff here, and I'll just throw a couple out. You can ask me later if you want to know more. But from the top down, we have 50-year concrete S-tile roofs that have an SRI rating of 87, which is about 3 times the reflectivity of a standard cool roof, which is already cooler than a standard roof. We have HVAC system made using heat pumps, which are extremely energy efficient. Again, I think a first for us in multi-bedroom properties that are not senior. We have the ERV system that we mentioned earlier, that others mentioned earlier. It's energy recovery ventilation. Because of our proximity to the highway, we have fresh air coming into the apartments to fulfill the fresh air requirements that are filtered and also conditioned in a very energy efficient way to the indoor temperature. So you're not bringing in 100-degree temperature into a 68-degree home, and you're not bringing in 30-degree temperature into a 70-degree home. That runs 24/7 on EAH's common meter, which is powered by solar. So the residents don't have to worry about that, and our maintenance staff changes the filters on a biannual basis. We also have hybrid water heaters for our all-electric units. That's the first 5 buildings up here. They are a relatively new technology for electric water heaters that have a heat pump attached to it to conserve energy. And then we also have the usual green features with the solar array offsetting electricity use, and energy-efficient appliances, water-conserving fixtures. I also want to recognize WRA and KLA, who are the 2 landscape architects that partnered in this case to put together the landscaping plan here. We have an entirely California native plants palette at this project. We hope it will be a demonstration site for the valley, with the exception of some fruit trees that were planted along this row here, this boulevard, where we also are advocates of locally grown food. And finally, I want to recognize Christy McClendon-Riva from McClendon-Riva Design, who is the interior designer for the project, and I think everyone would agree that it turned out pretty well. So actually, last thing is the panda door. I have to give props to the panda door. This is the exact kind of day when that feature is just extraordinary. I think this is the second property, but the other one's kind of a twin, so it happened at the same time. But this is the first one where we have this kind of width that can open up and really allow the community to use indoor and outdoor space simultaneously. And Dahlin designed the outdoor porch, so it really extends the space here, and we hope to have more of these types of receptions at this facility and to host more city meetings and other events. With that, I would like to introduce the 2 representatives from the elected officials. Darren McDaniel, if he's here, from Jeff Dennon's office, and Brent McKay from Kristen Nelson's office. Thank you.
We'll stay up here because we need to do a presentation. First of all, I think we should applaud EAH again for this outstanding job that they've done here. I've actually had the pleasure, this is my second one that I've been able to present to, and the last one I was at, I was extremely impressed and really blown away. But now when I walk onto this campus, this is truly amazing. And as I commute down the freeway, I've watched the growth of this as it's happened, and I'm always looking over my shoulder to see what's going on over here. And it's great to be here now. But on behalf of Congressman Jeff Denham, I'd like to present you with a certificate from the House of Representatives congratulating you on this project. Thank you very much.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brett McVeigh. In the program, it does say Michelle Finch. She's much more attractive than I. But I have the privilege to represent our Assembly member, Kristen Olson. And as much as we'd like to take credit for this beautiful facility, we really have to look at the city of Turlock, your elected officials, your city municipal employees, and the fine nonprofit organization, EAH, and all the other private institutes that made this happen. That's what true private-public partnerships are, when we get a tangible brick-and-mortar project from our tax dollars that really benefits our community. That's good government. And that's what we'd like to see more of, I think, all of us. So we, from our state office, we can pledge that we will try to stay out of the way of local good government. That should be the goal of all government. So think about who you elect. So anyways, I'd like to commemorate this occasion and say thank you for bringing this fine facility to our community and present you with this certificate.
Thank you.
You bet. Got it? Thank you.
All right. Before I bring Mary back up to end the program for the ribbon cutting, I spotted the contractor out there. Dina, can you call Kevin and Tracy back in quickly before they leave? All right. So I do want to recognize Wormers Construction, our contractor, Kevin Hansen, our superintendent, and Tracy, his assistant. Thank you. I want to recognize that I know Kevin spent almost 2 years away from his family, who's in Southern California, to do this job. And I understand the difficulty in that, and I want to thank you for it. Thank you. Kim Irvin, the property supervisor. Dina.
Come up.
Okay, come on up, Mary said. Dina Luce, the property manager. Now, Dina has been involved with the project for 2 years now, pre-leasing the units, and that's why the lease-up went so smoothly, because she was in the ground, she was at the farmer's market, she was in the parade, making sure people knew about this project, and as soon as buildings turn over, they were occupied, and that's all thanks to Dina. Maggie Ramirez, our halftime resource coordinator. Come on up. Maggie is the one who works with our residents. She started a neighborhood watch program here with the city of Turlock. She started her after-school program, which is well attended. And next month, she is going to start her pre-K program. Yes. And finally, Maria Garcia. Come on up. She's part of our staff here. Maria was started as our receptionist for the temporary office in downtown Turlock, and she's part of our staff now. We're happy to have her there.
So all of these guys and a few others, Steve Waybright and Angelica Lineweaver, Loretta Mowgli, and B. Oliveira, are you guys here too? Because if you are, come on up.
I apologize. I forgot Steve Waybright. Steve, come on up. Steve is our maintenance tech and also our on-site person.
Incredibly hard, please do. See one you like, in which case snag it. Any more? How are we doing? Keep going. You run out yet? And then we want a photo op. And Steve.
Me?
And your Steve. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Hey, Mike. Hey, Mike. You rock.
Thank you.
And I have one more bouquet for our absolutely fabulous project manager, Felix Ouyang. And Felix, this is not only something to take home to Summer, who has put up with you not being home for dinner with the kids for God knows how long, as you were driving up and down the freeway, but also for the project with the least heart attacks at the central office in my entire 28 years at EAH. Thank you so much. Sorry, a grip on your foot. Would you like the rest of the microphone?
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mary. I also want to thank Matt Steinley, who started this project with me, and also Errol Dominguez, who was a real asset toward the end of the construction process and for some certain reasons. Thank you. Okay, all right. Mary will wrap up.
You're sick of me. Were you done? Were you done? Yeah. Are you done? Okay, great. So I just wanted to mention in passing, and I know everybody's hungry, so I'll try to make this fast, but briefly, serious issues, the fact that we have this huge waiting list here, also in Modesto, and the recession in the valley has had a horrible impact on the economy, and the range of incomes, especially low-income families throughout the state, have really been impacted very, very badly by what happened in '08. So what we're seeing is more and more low-income families who are paying 50% and 60% of their incomes for rent. And statewide, as of 2011, there were over 1 million households in California that did not have an affordable home. Since the recession began, the median income in the state has dropped dramatically. And poverty in California in the aggregate is now at 8.9 million people, which is almost 24% of our overall population and the highest rate in the entire United States. But during the same period, the money that is available to create affordable housing has shrunk by 72%. And unfortunately, most of the people that you know don't know the difference between public and private housing, and public housing has also got its own issues, but there's a world of differences you've been able to see today, so I'm just making a brief plug for nonprofit housing, sorry. But putting a project, thank you, Roy, putting a project together like this is really darn difficult. And a key part of it is the National Low-Income Housing Tax Credit Program. As Maren was pointing out, 60% of the project was funded with that. It's been one of the most successful programs in the history of the United States. It's extremely well administered. It's partly due to the fact that private sector groups like Enterprise watch us like hawks, and they're chased, they're investors, you know, they're like checking our files and torturing our property managers on a daily basis. But it's also the fact that it's managed so well. Thank you so much. Now, let's cut ribbons and then have lunch.
Look this way, please.